me, the highlight is every moment right now, getting a chance to connect with one heart at a time, one community at a time, one school at a time, one teacher at a time, one student at a time, and be aligned in the message that we're both connected.
You're my life, you're my breath, you're a smile, you're my guest, you're the earth, you're the sun, you're the grass, you are love. You're my hands, you're a bug, you're my eyes, you're a hug, you're the light in the dark, you're the spark, you are fun. You're my mom, you are water, you're the stars.
I was so disappointed I didn't get to meet you in person this past summer.
Oh, yeah.
Along with so many plans that just kind of...
The greater plan.
Yeah.
Moving forward, though, with kind of trying to bring the spirit alive of the festival and still, you know, connecting with all these people that you had invited, and beautiful to see that, not letting the situation kind of deter us, you know.
We could start a little bit. I mean, you and I have talked, you know, a bit before, but most people most people in Nebraska don't know anything about you. So I wonder if maybe you could talk just a little bit about your journey and where you've been. You know, you grew up here and then now you've moved to India and you've done all kinds of really wonderful things, and maybe just give us a quick or a not quick rundown.
Well, when you said all the places you've been, I quickly thought of Dr. Seuss's book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, and how life takes us on journeys unexpected. And it's been like that for me, Eric. I think if I look back, I was born and raised in eastern part of Los Angeles. And I think by the time I hit high school, I had this vision of what I wanted to be. And well, I mean, it starts in elementary school when I was an NBA player, and then an NFL player, and then a cardiologist. And then by the time I hit high school, towards the end of high school, I wanted to become the CEO of Warner Brothers. I had this passion for music and entertainment, as well as I feel like a strength with numbers, business. So I just felt that was kind of like, okay, I want to do that. That's what I want to become, you know. And I literally started working at all these radio stations and record companies in Los Angeles from high school into college, and started a hip hop group at that time called Karmacy, which was just another hip hop group, but it was well known because it was the first Indian hip hop group in the world. So then, you know, you get a lot of love for being the first of anything. So that was interesting. That was an interesting journey we kind of stumbled upon, and touring, and then, you know, MTV was coming out with a new channel called MTV World in the early 2000s. So then we became, you know, a brand ambassador for that for a little bit, and we got, you know, a Sony music deal in India. Our music video started kind of flying out there. It was a fun journey, and it was with friends, and that was, I think, the funnest thing, was like, you know, going on a journey with your friends. That had its own journey as well, and I was having issues internally with the kind of industry experience and kind of the business elements and politics and ego, which triggered me to start another project with a few friends, a comic strip, actually, that kind of went viral in the South Asian American community, and we got a few $1 million in funding, and so I moved to India actually to open an animation studio eventually. So I was doing my music thing, and then I had this media, and I felt like this was actually getting me closer to my goal, which was wanting to be CEO of Warner Bros. At that point I was like, well, this is my chance to run my own media company, you know? Yeah. So this whole journey kind of unfolded all parallel. We were still, you know, releasing our, I think, second or third album at that time that I moved to India for the studio. But all along I was going through this chronic hand pain and issue and injury, and it pushed me in different ways, which was awesome. So this was kind of parallel, because it pushed me to stop drinking. I was never a heavy drinker. I started drinking at 21, like senior year of college, and I had 5 years where I enjoyed it socially. especially in New York, and then kind of just partying and having fun. But it triggered me to say I need to clean my own body if I want myself to heal. So I stopped drinking, I stopped eating meat. That most so because I really love animals. And then I decided eventually, when my hands weren't healing, this was before moving to India for the animation studio, to go take some Ayurvedic treatment, which is some natural remedy treatment in India, where I got a taste of not only doing that process, but I ended up volunteering at a nonprofit for 6 months while I was there.
Okay.
Called Manav Sadhana, which means devotion to humanity. And they work in the slum communities of a specific city where Mahatma Gandhi used to stay and had his ashram there. And I just worked on an album called Let Them Sing. I have a little photo of it here. These kids with their children from slum communities, really underprivileged backgrounds, but wanting to give them a chance to have their voice heard creatively. And that was beautiful. And then I went back to America. We got this phone call from a venture capital firm to invest into our studio. And then it was like a dream come true. I moved to India back again to start the studio. And about a year into that is when things started changing, because that's where I was like, there's a lot of good things happening here from the external perspective, but I wasn't happy in my heart. I was not feeling the sense of kind of like, oh man, this is what it's all been about, like getting these opportunities. And that's what I think happened. And that's what kind of leads me to where I am at today, which was the past 10 years has been that restart. And it's been a journey of learning and re-evolving and letting go. It's been an amazing 10 years. I would say I've grown the most, learned the most, evolved the most as a human being over these last 10 years in trying to be an instrument of good, whatever small ways that I can. And from that evolved a whole other offering of music, which I call Empty Hands Music. And I had gone on a 5-year kind of diet from creating any music, actually. And I was pretty much done as a musician.
Would you say when you pressed the restart button, was that a spiritual restart, or more than it was a career restart, or both the same?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely both, because it was I wouldn't say career, because I wasn't sure what I was doing. Actually, I was thinking that I would go help in some way or try to understand what it means to serve. So I didn't have any clarity on that, but I knew that I had changed from myself. So I would say that was actually a spiritual restart that was using the medium of service to as the vehicle,
So what did the first 2 or 3 months look like for you?
It was so interesting. Yeah, it's a great question, because that you have all these like this vision of what it's supposed to be, and I was trying to think karmically what I wanted to offer at a physical, tangible level in service to these children or this community. And it was that I thought. It was like I wanted to create some type of musical. And my passion is children, and my passion is the arts and performance. So can I not bring it all together? Can't that be one way that I can add value? So,
I wonder if the definition of service is also the same, or if it's different than it was 20 years ago. How would you define service now, today?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think I would say, to me, I don't know if there's any difference in time, personally, in my opinion, versus my own personal perception of what I thought it meant and what I think it is. And for me, service is any form of love, compassion, support, trust, even gratitude, like the idea of connecting with others in the spirit of wanting to see joy in their hearts, and a lot of times that means people that are suffering, and it's, there's such a vast array of suffering. So it's like somebody that's in mental suffering, and what do we do? What role are we playing in their lives to take that out? Or it's just adding to the joy that somebody's feeling from something that they're feeling good about, you know, and there's so much that, you know, in between, but to me it's like, how do we help take away suffering so that one can, you know, dive deeper into a spirit of contentment and joy and peace in their.
When you walked away from this career you had before, what did, I mean, I can imagine that it was in some way freeing, but also it's hard to let go. What did it feel like to walk away? You were clearly walking to something else, but was it something you questioned or regretted at any point, or what was that like?
Yeah, I questioned it. I never have regretted it. I've only embraced it with a lot of gratitude and appreciation. I've definitely questioned along the way, for sure, and especially in the first 5 years, I would say, whether it was the right decision. What's next, I think, would be probably even the big questions that keeps on coming up. I feel like it's up less now. There's a little more strength in the roots of what I believe in and where what my mission is in life. But I think in the beginning there was a lot of questions internally and externally, and that was tough to digest when you're so back in, you know, all of my life. It's clear you set a goal and you try to achieve it, and you have clarity on whether you're on the right path or not based on, you know, that, you know, XYZ. And here it was more like, okay, wait, like, how does this work into the conditioning of all things of, you know, that success means this and that happiness should mean this and that. And it was like realizing that are many more forms of I don't know how we word, sometimes in our service-based community that Preeta's involved, we talk about capital as in financial capital and spiritual capital and emotional capital, all of these forms. And I think it feels like I had been conditioned that financial capital provides all the necessary pieces. And over here, I was letting go of that and realizing that there are these other forms of capital that are starting to nurture me. This is to never forget your address. You know, I love sharing that with kids. I usually bring an earth flag with me to all my performances, especially with students. Don't ever forget, whenever somebody says, "Where are you from?" you know the answer. These are, like some of these drawings are from kids that schools that I've gone to, where they have it already up, and you know, like being kind is the name of one of my songs. Planting seeds, grateful is the name of the song, and it's awesome. It's just like they're getting into the spirit of the school assembly or whatever we're doing, and then they put these beautiful paintings up. And so, yeah, that's kind of, this was a little prayer sheet. Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle, Orcas Island. This is a picture of Ganesh, Payal, and Vishal, 3 kids that I worked with to create this album for them. Yeah, just little artwork pieces that my friends put together, one small step at a time. And yeah, so that's kind of just, you know, just some fun stuff. Made by amazing everyday heroes around the world.
When you come to Crossroads Music Festival for Dave there, what would you like to see, hear, and do?
Ooh, I love that. I mean, I would love to have just like gathering, you know, where we all get to connect and share our stories with each other, and maybe even like I've never done a speed dating thing, but the idea of doing like 5 minutes with each other quick before everything begins, because that way then we plant the seeds of knowing each other, and knowing each other's journey. And sometimes you don't want to. A social environment is different because you know you might to a few people, which is beautiful, but the purposeful idea of like getting 5 minutes each person or 10 minutes with each person and doing that where everybody can connect their stories. So you're talking about our brother from Syria. wow, I mean, what is his life like? And, you know, how do we understand that even just to a degree? And so that to me sounds exciting to like say, who are all the people involved and how can we all learn and share with each other in a shorter period of time in the beginning, so that the time that we are kids, we have those, we're more facilitated to have deeper conversations, you know.